Hello everyone, this is Khan Imran, teacher presently posted at Government Higher Secondary School, Sherabad. I'm holding an MPhil in Psychology from University of Kashmir, and my MPhil research has been on substance dependence in Kashmiri youth. And I have also worked as de-addiction therapist for J&K Police's drug de-addiction services. And apart from that, I have worked as mental health psychologist for Medicine Sans Frontiers, Action Aid International, and I have also worked on a project in Jamia Millia Islamia University regarding the same thing. And as we know that today it is 26th of June, and World Drug Abuse Day is being celebrated across the world. So I have decided to come up with a message for the youth of Kashmir, and I would like to share certain facts with them, and also what are the treatment options in front of us that can be used to prevent the people of Kashmir, especially youth, from this menace of drug abuse. So first of all, let me share that the theme of this year's International Day Against Drug Abuse is that share facts on drugs and save lives. So it's necessary to share facts on drugs because it has been found that the people across the world have different perceptions regarding the extent of substance abuse, and there is gap in reality and perception. So it's very necessary, it becomes necessary to inform people about it, inform youth about it, and also educate people about it so that they can know the right information which will help them to prevent themselves from substance abuse and also seek treatment at appropriate time. So first of all, let me share that the extent of substance abuse across the world in India and in Kashmir as well. Well, it has been reported by various organizations, researchers, and United Nations as well, that substance abuse is one of the worst problem faced by humanity these days. We know that we are right now in the middle of a pandemic, and that has only added to the extent of substance abuse across the world. Well, as per the United Nations report on the extent of drug abuse, as per the 2021 report which was released quite recently, there are 275 million people across the world who have used any sort of psychoactive substance in the previous year, and 36 million people across the world suffer from psychoactive substance use disorder. So they are dependent on it, they are facing problems because of substance use, and they have been labeled as suffering from substance abuse disorder. And the report, again, as I said earlier, that the report has highlighted that there's a need to educate people regarding the extent of substance abuse across the world, regarding the nature of substance abuse, regarding the treatment options as well, because there a gap has been found between the reality and perception. So people sometimes think that the problem is not that big, or their community may be immune to substance abuse, which is not exactly the case. It has entered every society, and it has struck at the very basis of our society. So information, right information, fact sharing is very, very important. And it has also been found that in the same report, in the World Drug Abuse Report 2021, it has been found that the pandemic, 2019 COVID pandemic, has only added to substance abuse, and cannabis increase has been found during this pandemic. So, regarding the Indian scenario, the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, in its report on the magnitude of substance abuse in India 2019, they have reported that there are substantial number of people who are involved in substance abuse in India. In their report, they have mentioned that alcohol, cannabis, uh, opioids, they are the highest drugs of abuse in India. Well, the survey also mentions that the hardcore drugs like cocaine, amphetamine type stimulants, hallucinogens, sedatives, and inhalants, they are also being abused across India in a very significant number. So we can say that a large proportion of population in India as well is involved in substance abuse. Then regarding Kashmir, well, Kashmir is not immune to substance abuse. In fact, the geopolitical situation in Kashmir has only increased our vulnerability to the problem of to many problems and to mental health problems especially, and to substance abuse as well. And then our proximity to world's largest opium producing areas, Golden Triangle and Golden Crescent, which they are called. So our proximity to them has also added to our vulnerability. So we can say that the people of Kashmir, especially youth, are more vulnerable to the problem of substance abuse. Well, as I said, that a comprehensive survey has not been conducted so far, but there are surveys and there are studies which show a very grim picture of substance abuse in Kashmir. For example, mental health survey was conducted by Medicine Sans Frontiers in 2015, and we showed that 29% of adults in Kashmir use tobacco and 11% use benzodiazepines, over-the-counter sedatives. So, these two figures reflect only tip of the iceberg. We know that Kashmir has a conservative culture and drug abuse is not an acceptable behavior in Kashmir. So if 11% of benzodiazepine use is being reported, or if 29% of tobacco use is being reported in Kashmir, that only reflects that the other drugs might also be abused in Kashmir. For example, let me share this information with you that the Police Drug Detection Center in 2021 till 2021 have received some 30,000 substance abusers for treatment. In the same way, similarly, United Nations Drug Control Program has reported that there are 60,000 substance abusers in the valley, and this report was published very back, some 10 years before, I think. And then there are other reports as well, which have like a book written by famous psychiatrist of Kashmir, Dr. Mushtaq Margoob. And in his book, he has reported that there are some 2 lakh substance abusers in the valley. So, as I said, that substance abuse is not an acceptable behavior in Kashmir. So, even if there are surveys where people are being asked about their substance abuse, they don't report about it. So, because it's not an acceptable behavior. So, thus, if there are some figures which show that, for example, 2 lakh substance abusers are in the valley, this is only the tip of the iceberg, and the actual figures might be very huge. Now, what can be done regarding this problem? Well, I believe that the first thing is attitude change among common people. In Kashmir or in many societies, substance abuse is considered as a moral problem, a problem of character, a corruption of moral values, and degradation of character as well. Substance abusers are, they are seen with bias and prejudice. But research has constantly shown that substance abuse is a mental health illness. So it should be seen like that. If a person is ill, he should not be discriminated. We should not hate that person for his illness, but instead we should bring such individuals to treatment. Now, very few people know that there are treatment options available with regard to substance abuse, and if we know that where a person should be taken, that will make a huge impact. There are drug de-addiction centers in Kashmir. For example, there is community health center in SMHS, which I think is being run by Department of Health Services in Kashmir. And then J&K Police has contributed hugely to the prevention and treatment of substance abuse in the valley. Even there's a very huge hospital, a 50-bedded hospital, has been established by J&K Police, which is by the name Youth Development and Rehabilitation Center, which is being established, which has been established in Wanganpura, Srinagar, Eidgah, Srinagar. So there we can take any such person who we feel is involved in substance abuse, and the treatment done in both the centers, in community mental health center in SMHS Srinagar and Youth Development and Rehabilitation Center Wanganpura, Eidgah, Srinagar. In both the centers, the treatment is being done on professional lines, on scientific lines. First of all, patients are admitted there. They are being treated for withdrawals and any complications associated with their substance abuse, and then psychotherapy, counseling, social rehabilitation, spiritual therapy, religious therapy, yoga, and other interventions are being used so that we can save our youth who have been involved in substance abuse. So what I believe at the end is that we should know the facts about substance abuse and also the treatment options. And above all, attitude change is a must. Thank you. Thanks a lot.